to taste that sweet nectar of a win once again, because it's been a while. They need that confidence. They need that belief. And even if it's an incredibly tight game against sYnck, a win is a win.
A win is a win. A W is a W, and that's the most important thing. Anyway, Mirage is underway, and it's so often been the site of many Flames and Degster banger performances. So let's see if they can put that in once again today in an online environment. Cons with great utility, 3 pieces in fact, smoke, nade, and a flash as well. And Watts has got a smoke of his own with that defuse kit. And the P250 will try and do some tapping away from Palace, as we so often see. And now OG will try and creep up Connector to go for a bit of a split.
Yeah, sYnck are playing for the retake on that A bomb site, and it looks like they will have to commit to that as OG are gravitating towards that A site, pincering their way through. Won't be any contest on the bomb plant. And all 10 players are going to be alive as that plant comes through. There's a kids in play. There's a healthy amount of utility here for sYnck as well. Let's see how they go about making the retake happen.
Frag is holding off from Latherum as well. That removes Echo immediately. Now the cavalry will arrive through CT, and Watts will pull out his utility just as he tries to go and smoke the bomb. Degster pounces, and he gets 3 insta-headshot. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I tend to agree with that assessment. niko on the jump spot sees a player getting aggressive, doesn't realize that Cons is super close though, and Cons just forces the issue. But I think off the back of that, OG just going to look to try and force their way into the speed bomb site. Eku is in a forward position, the opposite side. The smoke completely blinded up though. Great utility usage coming through from OG, and that's going to be enough to win the round. sYnck 3 versus 4. Surely they count themselves out of this.
Cons
because if all 3
now.
players stay alive, then they can afford to invest into the next, Trav.
Yeah. That was Cons' one chance. That little tiny gap there he had for 5 seconds. If he got a kill, then they would most certainly consider a 3v3 retake. But now his position is known. They're not going to fight for it anymore, and they're going to be saving with all 3. And if they do save with all 3, they can at least get some form of a decent buy in this following round. They're going to have probably an MP9 and a FAMAS or something, but still, they'll have at least 3 rifles. So OG continuing to show their superiority, and we have to now continue to keep counting, of course, because it was 11-6 to sYnck on Ancient.
Yep.
And 10 rounds in a row were won by OG to win that 16-11. This is now 4 rounds in a row, so we've now gone 14-0 since sYnck last won a round.
That is, that's problematic to say the least. And it's just that OG have been looking increasingly better and better as these rounds have been going on, right? More confidence, individuals are looking more dialed in, and it's a well-rounded team performance. 4 of their players all sit on 4 kills right now. Neofrag, where he just had that one clean tap with the Glock, hasn't had to do anything else, hasn't even died, so yeah, this is getting concerning. This is the moment sYnck need to stand up. Still early days on Mirage, but when you keep in mind what happened at the end of the previous map, they need to make a statement. They need to show that they have what it takes to compete in this first half on their CT side. OG have a 57% win rate on their T side of Mirage, by the way, so this is going to be really difficult for the CTs.
Yeah, indeed. Neofrag once again hit his entry toward Cons, the IGL, and Andu just climbing up on top of the boxes in mid on the short railing. He taps away at niko and even drops down and finds Neofrag as well. That's a really nice response from Andu. Important frags to take.
Big kill. Really big kill out of Fiku. Just brings the round back into even keel.
Didn't need to
He
pick
squandered
that,
the
Andu.
opportunity a bit early onto Andu. Absolutely. Andu knew there was a player in Palace, and he had a player underneath the balcony. So that's just an egregious peek coming through from him that costs him his life.
He was feeling it, wasn't he? After 2 kills, he's like, yes, I can get this 3rd as well. But sometimes you get bitten for that over-aggression. And he has been bitten by Fiku this time. Exactly. Discipline. I mean, all these sort of small, tiny details are things that sYnck can learn from. No doubt. They're all small, tiny details, but they add up.
Absolutely. Now it looks like OG are going to be grouping up and heading into that B bomb site, splitting their way because Flames has been able to get on towards Catwalk. This is where the lion's share of the defense does rest as things stand, though, for sYnck. Player in markets, and you got Eku's on the platform outside of apartments, so he should be good for at least a kill. At the bare minimum. As now that pressure will start to mount. Eku, does he get spotted by the cat player? He does. That's going to give the information to the players coming out of apartments, but it doesn't make a difference.
Well done.
Great.
And Neofrag is trying to do that as well, but he's already been tagged into 17. And if Fates actually goes for this wall bang, I'm pretty sure that AWP would take him out through that wall. I think
You're right.
Anywhere that would do enough damage. Andy creeping up, and he has to deal with it nicely. But of course, now he knows where Flames is, and that's a very hard angle to just swing upward directly to trade it, even though he's that low. So Andy decides against it this time, and I would say that's probably
Normally
the right
the
decision.
CT in that position.
Yeah, exactly.
And as you say, it's so difficult for the T's coming through underpass to try and take the fight with that CT. So that's why Andu thinks better of it. Retreats back into apartments. There's still actually a second player on that bomb site watching Catwalk. OG have just somewhat paused, but now start to make their way out of ramp. 2 players working together. It's Watts who's going to have a job to do, and he's able to find a kill, nearly the second on Fiku as well. Dinks him down.
Yeah.
At least Fiku gets the trade, and now he's going to look for the plant.
Yeah, 2 players dink down to 15 HP now. So an interesting 3v3 to come our way. Eku, we only need 1 bullet to connect to deal with that one. But none will connect. So now the retake is on. All 3 CTs coming through from CT. But Degster has the line, and he can most certainly step up from these positions. Great incendiary to put right there, though. That will force him into the open, and he only gets his 1 kill. And now Flames and Fiku have those 2 15 points of health together, 30 combined, and there's the first foul. Now it's Flames, though, and he can just continue to play time. There's a kit on Eku, and there is an HE grenade available, and he does avoid it.
Snowball in full effect, and they're going to aggress towards ramp. Flash forces them both off the angle. Flame swings out. He's got support there from Neofrag. They will be able to trade initially. Eku doubles down, eventually falls to the no-scope, but he's done more damage. Watts locks down the site. Rare miss there from Dexter, costs him his life, and it's all on Niko. But he's not alive for much longer either.
Good hold. Excellent hold from sYnck, and they would have been almost descended into a slight panic there once they lost that opening duel toward ramp. But of course, they had the insurance policy of the second player being baited in, and the fact he gets 2 and dinks the 3rd is absolutely spot on. Really good hold. And again, that will stop the OG rot. It was, as I mentioned, 14 rounds in a row when they were 4-0 up. Then sYnck finally won 1, but another 2 in response. 16-1 it would have been if it was a full map of CS. And sYnck will finally get their second on Mirage. And it puts OG down to a bit of a weird force buy now. 3 Deagles and a Glill and an AK, and that might give Cons a chance to work some stuff out. But Fiku just owns him from Palace. Watts needs at least 1 here.
And he will get it. Neofrag's not ready for him. Just about the timing on the peak. There we go, Watts. Gets that kill. Fiku trades, though. He is the man on a mission right now. With that Desert Eagle, eventually will get cut down. But look at the rotations he's pulled over towards that A bomb site. There's nobody on the B side of the map right now. Dexter, get your knife out and run through. This is awkward for sYnck. Yes, they've got that man advantage, but it's going to be a challenging retake. At least there's kits, there's utility as well. They still have the advantage.
They do, and niko only has that Deagle, but Dexter's got an AK, and he's been a monster so far. AWP or rifle. What can they get done in this round? 3 players coming in toward market. Dexter, niko looking for information first to activate Dexter's peak. And now the swing will come in. First headshot missed by niko, but Dexter will surely pounce at some point, and in we go. There's going to be a massive lineup, and he almost gets all 3 of them, but niko is still alive in the midst of all this, and look at the damage done to Fates. 30
consecutive rounds coming through for sYnck. Niko, he spots out Faze just as the smoke blooms. Able to inflict damage, but it's not going to result in the kill. It's actually going to be Watts who opens up first. Trades are the name of the game, and I don't think Niko's detected as he's pushed into snipers so aggressively. Cons is going to be have to trade, and I think niko overplays his hand there. After they know he's in snipers, his presence alone would have been enough to actually have impact. Didn't need to continue to force the issue.
And now, sYnck should have a nice insurance policy with the big flank coming in. Fiku's trying to take a really aggressive angle to hit an insta headshot, but both of them are pretty low. 46 and 47 HP. Andu, okay. He checks the wrong angle for a bit too long. Unknowingly gets swung by Flames. So 2 versus 2. Eku has a kit, and they have smokes available, so they should be okay for the defuse. But Fiku's whiffed it, but they're peeking off each other really well. It has to be Eku. 1 bullet needed to take him down, but he manages to do it again. Another close 1 versus 1, won by sYnck. They had trouble with these a lot yesterday against Cloud9. So many close rounds on Ancient. But this time, on Mirage against OG, a couple are going their way, and it's giving them a sniff in this map.
And you know they're going to be feeling pumped. They're on boot camp right now. They're on the brink of being eliminated from the qualifier. You know they're hyped. Winning a round like that is going to do a lot for their confidence. Great effort there from Flames. I mean, he does a huge amount of work in the post plant that actually shouldn't have ever been winnable for OG, so the fact that they get it so close is actually pretty impressive, and yeah, they will go for the force here, and not even so much as a force, as a pretty decent investment. Couple Galils and a Mac 10 as well, but they have more than enough to make the round competitive, and when you look at sYnck's money, I mean, one round win here for OG would completely shatter that CT side's economy. However, if sYnck win this, it's 7-6. OG don't get a plant, then it's 7-all probably. Big defense on the B-bomb site required.
Yeah, and that's the issue. Oh, they're doing it really well, though. Again, Andrew gets himself 2, and he can just stick himself toward the back of the site. It's not still alive. It's actually Echo who's still alive, but look at Cons. He's betwixt and between. He had a chance to cut off that final player coming through at niko, but niko destroys him. The only silver lining is that Fates has full vision on the bomb. And he will manage to deal with Neofrag as they try and collect it, and they know that niko was late apps. And they have 2 players now holding that line. And they're not going to be over-peaking this one. We saw them have a mistake against Shiro yesterday where they over-peaked it slightly. And that maybe is a little bit too overzealous from Fates. And he'll reface it again. This is the issue with sYnck. And yes, niko.
There's going to be a force back in response here from sYnck. So 10-5. Very much up for the taking here if you're OG.
And once again, at least gets himself 1. But Flames is once again going to get that trade. Great clutch from niko. The calm tapping away at the player playing that tight angle behind the shells, of course. Can be very hard to actually hit that headshot. But it shows they're cool and they're collected. And they've got a guaranteed lead at least on the half now at 8-5.
Everything just pauses for a little bit. OG start to shift their pieces around the map. Options available. Like they're just going to group up in connector. Fiku coming through from ramp. And they're going to pincer their way in towards the safe site. sYnck do have some decent positions though, because Watts is slowly clearing out Palace, so at least that's a bit of a power position for him to play off of. Cons with the scouts landed the tag on Fiku. That's going to be bringing Watts into the equation. Another tag from Cons. He's doing work right now with that scout.
Yeah, keep counting. Flames and Fiku now wounded, and Watts has not shown his hand from Palace yet. This could be big, but he's whiffing his shots. Thankfully manages to get away with it, and Flames will go down. But of course that AWP is now trained on that position, but that's a great shot from Cons. Deals with niko in the end. 3 versus 2, but of course lack of a kit. Thankfully Eku has picked up that AK. Now actually it's down to Dexter. He'll miss the first shot and needs to recover it, but he's missing every single shot right now, and Cons will hit both scout tags. sYnck get away with 1, and that is a superb recovery. 3 up on the ground, 3 AK toward the end of the half. That round going awry. Final of the half coming in. It's not great. They have enough smokes, but they only have 1 Molotov and a few flashes. They have a couple of players without utility now as well, but if they hit the headshots, it doesn't matter. niko now is going to go for a peek, but Andu is here, and they re-aggress brilliantly. 3 toward mid there for sYnck in the mid-round, but look at Flames. He's in the perfect position, and he gets both of them. Easy for Flames. In the right place at the right time. And now Cons is 1v3.
The clue's in the name, Trap. Flame easy.
Haha.
Let's get those easies in chat for Flames, as we do see Cons trying to touch that. He was great.
It was sYnck who were 9-6 up on the previous map, and they went on to lose. Can they flip the script this time around and get themselves a 3rd map decider, Hayes?
They have to. They have to if they want to keep their hopes alive of qualifying for Dallas. There's no 2 ways about it. This is the lower bracket. Fiku in apartments has some support. Flashbang thrown through. Andu completely unaffected. Now it's on niko to try and lock down the sites and at least get a kill for his team, but that's not going to happen. Great execute coming through from sYnck, and Andu tapping away will take down Dexter as well. This pistol round is done and dusted.
Andu
might
wants
as well
all of
save
them.
your Kevlar at this point. Yeah, and why not? Can't blame him.
Freebie for Cons as Flames drops down into toward mid, and Andu will finally get taken down. But it's Neofrag 1 versus 5. And he's obviously going to be looking for this flank right now. Cons is here. Information spotted. And that is a headshot hit. Spam will come through, but the headshot doesn't do as much damage as Cons actually thinks it has. So Neofrag will get away with it. Looking for bonus cash, of course. Is there anything he really can do now? Give him some more chance at an extra force buy. That's a beautiful shot on toward Fates, but finally he'll go down.
And control to relay through for his teammates. Re-smoking bottom of connector does give Flames a bit of room to maneuver. Cons has gone into snipers though. This is a big point of contention, especially because 2 players have gone down in the process. Great awareness from niko. Yeah, 100%. Great presence of mind.
2 versus 3. Nice shot from Watts, but unfortunately he's low and time is a bit of an issue. Fate seems to step up here somehow, but oh, okay. Flames is in the open and Watts has hit another headshot, but of course we all know how wall-bangable triple is, and in comes the nade. Fortunately, they managed to avoid it, but in the end it's actually Fate's a high HP player to go down. And Watts is 1v2 with the AWP. Oh, they're out! One in toward window and one toward jungle, and then the extra one, and that is a miss, I believe. Yep, there it is. It's on bench for no good reason.
And it means it's going to be a bit more difficult for them to try and cross in towards that A bomb side. Cons does damage, but receives quite a lot in the meantime. But a flurry of frags back and forth between both teams. But eventually, sYnck will separate themselves from OG. They get 2 extra kills. It's only Dexter left, and that A bomb side's completely capitulated.
It's fallen apart. And that was actually really interesting, right? Because I think they realised that smoke had missed at that particular stage of the round. And at that point, it looked like, even though they lost a few picks, they kind of paused. And I'm not sure necessarily if it was an intentional pause or not. It was only a pause for like barely even 3 or 4 seconds. But it was a pause long enough to leave OG in a second of repositioning and reorganization. Yep. They pounced at a kind of unexpected time, and all the kills went their way. It was a 4 for 2 after that.
That's a great point that you make, because it was so impressive that they were able to just pause amongst all the chaos. So much composure, just to put the brakes on, pump the brakes ever so slightly, regather themselves, figure out what the blueprint was, and then go through from there. And it caught OG completely off guard. 12-10. sYnck now just 4 rounds away. The next is going to be an eco as well. And it's not even like these rounds that they've been winning on the T side have been incredibly hard-fought, difficult rounds. They've been pretty clean-cut, keeping numbers alive consistently, in good positions, finding opening picks as well.
Yeah. And now we have to look at how important those few clutches were on their CT side in a row. Like, it was the ones that I think got them to within 2 rounds, like 7-5 or something. That was actually, it makes a huge difference now at this sort of stage of the game. Could have been a flipped script, could have been 12-10 OG rather than 12-10 sYnck. Those clutches were humongous. And now they're in a really good position to maybe win a map in this qualifier. That was surely would have been their goal against the teams they were playing. They are confident in themselves. We saw that against Cloud9, but to win a map in both their matches, hard against C9 as it proved to be, but they got ever so close on Ancient. Can they get one against OG?
It's all on Dexter here in this round. He has to be the hero. 4 players in towards middle, essentially for the CT side. Watts peeks out, he sees 2 of them, and that's going to be prompting sYnck to start to commit in towards B. At this point, Watts is just trying to buy as much time as he can. He gets a kill as well. Oh no, Neofrag, you can't afford to miss those shots. He had to get the kill. That would have been a rifle. It's still Fiku on the side, but he's gone down as well, and Dexter has no option but to head for the hills. And it's not even like that would have drastically impacted the outcome of the round, but it's just damage at least, man.
Yeah, I know. Every little helps. And once again, Dexter is forced to try and save the AWP. So, sYnck, 13-10. Their economy is certainly in a very good state. They're going to have a few buys in arrears, even if they do lose a couple of close rounds in a row. Getting interesting. Getting spooky for OG. And look at this. Watts is shifting his way through. He might actually catch Dexter in the side here. It's going to be pretty close. Spots him. Looks for him. Dexter's aware, thankfully. And this AWP is such an important option. Laser Cats. And then 9 Pandas. Seeds team, which none of them are really properly tier 2 teams, I would say. So, yeah. This will be superb. And that's a nice position from Watts as well. He's 22-14. He struggled a bit against Cloud9 yesterday. He's been brilliant today. And Neofrag going searching toward ramp is removed already.
Problematic to say the least. In such an important round here for OG, means that they have to potentially make a move elsewhere on the map to try and rectify their disadvantageous position. It's Fiku who's pushed into a slightly forward position in apartments, himself and Eku on opposite sides of the angle as things stand. And it looks like the bomb's heading in that direction. And look at the way OG are set up right now, Trav. They've got 2 players deep CT, 1 in Palace. They are not at all prepared to deal with the B execute. And Fiku has fallen without a single kill. That's the end of the round and the end of the world for OG.
Oh my goodness. How has Fiku not gone at least 1 for 1 there? That's a reaction to dream of for Eku. And that's going to make it 14-10. They're creeping ever closer. The closest they got was that overtime against Cloud9 on Ancient, but this is now a more promising position than they've ever been in so far in this qualifier. And it makes you wonder, right? I mean, we've been speaking about OG and their frailties, of course. What's your opinion on like their ranking, full stop, right? Because I feel like that it can be a bit inflated with them having, you know, partner slots with Blast and stuff. They are now walking players back toward B apartments. But that hasn't really forced any rotations for OG. They're going to boost a player up on the balcony as they walk 2 through underpass.
I wonder if OG got a bit ahead of themselves at 7-1, if they thought they'd probably finished off the job and won the series. Fiku good for a kill this time at least. It's going to be Niku who's kind of baited in off the back of that. No way as a T-side you're expecting a second player, not out in the open like that. And actually, for the first time in what feels like an absolute age, OG have a man advantage.
Very true. Very true.
They don't have to do anything from here. Now they can just sit posted up on the angles and wait for sYnck to make the next move. Estonian team certainly should go for this. You look at the money in play. They've got heaps of cash behind them. You've got Cons who's in snipers right now, but oh, Flames actually pivots ready for it. He's going to get both of those kills. I have no idea how he finds 2 kills from that position. I think if the connected player was just a little bit more patient, then Cons backstabs and probably gets that kill for free onto Flames.
Oh,
who will finish off the round. Wow, yeah, phenomenal. Where do they go from here, Trav? They're going to be kicking themselves that they weren't able to win the previous round. Dexter, that is a bold play to make, just peeking out on that timing. No support util, no flash for him to peek out off of either. Steps into his death. And that's another opening pick for the T side. Hasn't been a rare one.
No. I had a quick look, and probably the most impressive team that sYnck actually beat in that open qualifier that I actually did have a quick glance at, just slipped my memory, was actually Copenhagen Flames. They beat in that first open qualifier, which obviously Copenhagen Flames aren't what they once were with Regali, but still, it's a good win. And they proved that by continuing that best-of-1 streak to actually make it here. And right now, Cons is going to out-AWP NeoFrag as well. Niko's in a great position to stop that lurk from being a possibility. But again, Flames is flanking. Are they going to fall foul of this 2 rounds in a row? 20 seconds in the round, and they're not glancing at it whatsoever. Niko showing presence, but Watts glances it at the last second. That is humongous. And Cons has dealt with Fiku's rotation as well. It's Niku 1v3.
Cons is the hero. Cons has got the job done. Not even the standard AWPer for the team, but my goodness has he been impressive in this round with 3 kills to his name. First frag found on Dexter, and then just alleviating the pressure as he opens up the A bomb site as well. Only Niko left, but I mean, he needs some sort of rush magic here to clutch this one out because there's no chance. Did you see that rush clutch against Furia? Well, it wasn't a clutch, I suppose. It was Rush and Junior in the 2v3 retake.
Was it like a fadeaway smoke shot or something?
Yeah, so they were actually saving, and he just...
Let's see. They can close it off. NeoFrag aggressive toward Palace. That catches Watts off guard. That's a good place to be. Now Dexter's in the perfect place as well. That drops the bomb, but he does get traded by Andu. The problem is that NeoFrag is still a massive issue, and now 2v4. You'd think it's very hard to fight your way through, and Flames will win the tap battle from the bottom of Con. Fiku gets the last. And OG are still people. We always love an underdog. It's the classic story. And it's been great to see them play so well. But how do they deal with it now? Because Flames is feeling it. Niko is feeling it. A good response from Andu. And Flames could get caught off guard here if Eku goes through this smoke. Especially with a player toward Chair as well. He has to go aggressive. And there we go. 4v3. It's a chance now.
NeoFrag in a good position. He's actually really struggled over on the same bomb side throughout the CT side so far. Had a tough time in regulation, but at least he's able to get a kill here. Needs more, though. It's only an even numbers game as things stand. And as for the OG players, they're just split right now. Pretty much everybody left to their own individual ability. Fiku on the timer. Oh, so much damage done. Not going to result in the kill. The HE, though, does finish off the job. Only just meets its mark. niko will look to lock down the B bomb site. Fates at least trades 1v2. Plant will come through. Round very much alive for the sniper.
Oh, this is so difficult, though. He hears him jumping towards short, and now he sees him jumping towards short, but he's been baited out by it. Thankfully, he's got a Molotov to keep him at bay a little while longer, but now he has to basically guess where the other player is coming from. He has no information whatsoever. He's now got eyes on stalks, looking for these final two players. It's Fiku and Neofrag, and he guesses Neofrag perfectly, and now he's got the sightline toward Fiku. This would be huge from Fates, holding the perfect position, and he gets it done! Dexter
has to hit the shot. Going to be a double P coming through, and he does connect. That's going to be baiting his teammate in. Neofrag falls off the block. Dexter has actually got all 3 of the kills. Are you kidding? I didn't realize he got the second. Welcome back to the server, brother.
Crazy, isn't it? After 3 or 4 missed shots from the previous round, he hits all 3 in the following. It looks like OG are going to at least glean a 2-1 in the first half of overtime. Big round from Dexter.
And that's huge for OG to pick up 2 rounds on their CT side based on what happened in that first half. It was, what, a 9-6 halftime scoreline for OG going into their CT side? And imagine sYnck get eliminated from this closed qualifier without winning a map, and they were able to get as close as they have against both Cloud9 and OG. That would just be heartbreaking for them, man.
I mean, just think about the rounds. I mentioned it multiple times yesterday. Against Cloud9 on Ancient, they had
unit looks to keep things as simple as they possibly can here and make their way in towards the A bomb site. Wait, what? That's a leg shot. Fiku is legged, but he's got the kill. I'm very confused right now. Either way, it's a man advantage for the T side.
That's a ridiculous entry, and look how aggressive Flames has gone. He's behind that Molotov.
Oh,
Eku, he taps one through the smoke, but it's not before the bomb goes down. So there shouldn't be any risk now for OG.
Yeah. I think I've figured out what's happened. Fates doesn't hit the leg shot on the player crossing. It's Fiku who's coming out of Palace. And he takes all that damage fighting the Palace player.
Yes.
It was just simultaneous.
Also, it was very, very similar damage that you would have if you did get legged.
Exactly.
So,
Eku, 1v3. Time ticked away though. No life left remaining. Dexter.
Of course, with everything they could want. Cons trying to fight for his life, but look how blind he is.
Awkward.
And look at their second flash, though. That is a really good reface from Andu, knowing that they're still going to be blind toward mid, but Dexter wins his duel toward Watts. That's a big one. Andu needs a second, you would think, to make this round a possibility. In he comes, gets one, and he gets both.
Wow.
Brilliant from Andu. That aggression is wild, but it works out for him.
Yeah, never expecting that, but I suppose he had support coming through from Catwalk, and he had a second teammate behind him, so he could afford to make that play. Now it's all on Dexter. AWP jumping around, forcing them off the angle with the flash. They don't need to peek into him yet. That would just be asking for trouble. They know where he is. They've got control of the bomb. And they've got the perfect setup. Dexter, another flash over the top. Will be blinding up. The Cat player blinds up both, but can't hit the shot in the first. Huge round out of Andu. That's a quad kill, Trav.
Yeah, and he's the man that I brought up before we started against Cloud9 yesterday. He is a bit of a monster on the sYnck side. I think he's the top highest rated alongside Fates.
Yeah,
that's impressive.
Rifler for sure.
Fates is the AWPer. And yeah, it's actually interesting, and we mentioned it before, didn't we, that Fates AWPing on this team. He's been a rifler for quite a lot of his career, but taking up the AWP in a roster full of his countrymen can do both to a great extent. And he's going to need to do more here. Positioning himself toward Palace. Does Fiku pick into it? He does. It's a dink, but it's a dink through the wall with the AK. So Fates will survive, but Flames and niko get 2 kills in response. And now pressure on Fates is big.
Still very winnable for sYnck. Look at the HP. niko's low Flames straight through the smoke. Fates wasn't even blinded by the flash, but he gets destroyed. Neofrags found Andu. It's all on Eku. This is winnable though, Trav. 1v4 turn, 1v3. Couple players still low here for OG, but Dexter's alive. He's posted up on the angle, scoped in. He's been hitting his shots. Misses this one off the jiggle though, so at least Eku's able to close the gap, but now they know where he's coming from. Nade not going to impede him. He doesn't really have
information isn't great on these final 2 players. Goes for the dink, at least hits both and gets the spray transfer. And now 1 versus 1, but niko is coming in behind. This should surely be unannounced for Eku. 1 bullet either which way will do it, and niko refuses to show himself. Leg spotted, and OG get it done. Only just. Oh my goodness, what an attempt from Eku. Respect to him and